Greetings, citizens of the world, we are anonymous. This is an open call to establish travel bans on United States citizens, boycott US-made products, divest of US or Trump-related business interests, and apply sanctions on the Trump regime and all of its associates. Until the danger the United States today possesses against the world is resolved. Reciprocity measures must be enacted against the United States to challenge its shameless actions under the Trump regime. Global response must also come in the form of economic sanctions on products directly associated with the Trump corporate brand. As citizens of the world, we must unite against tyranny wherever it emerges and challenge it. As Trump reveals himself to be a danger not just for the US but the rest of the international community, it is our right to protect and defend ourselves from the madness of arrogantity with no regard for international law, human rights, or common decency. We call on the international community from all backgrounds and ideologies, across social stratas and religions, to resist the madness leaking out of the United States. We call for the creation of global boycotts against US-made products. We call on you to contact your representatives and members of Parliament and Congress to apply sanctions on the Trump regime. We call on you to take part in divestment of US shares. BDS the US until the maleficent Trump regime is brought to justice. To the citizens of the United States, this is not an attack on you but firm and necessary action against the rising tyranny that today befalls you. Participate in your own liberation from the Trump regime by applying economic and political pressure on your House and Senate representatives to push the impeachment of the Trump regime. The Trump regime will not listen to protests in the streets, but it will crumble under protests in the workforce and sanctions, divestment, and boycotts abroad. We call on you, the citizens of the United States, to organize rolling work strikes nationwide. Remove your labor from the pockets of the tyrants, disrupt the markets they are so proud of, and take the reins of your governance back by building society and mass collaboration. Forget making America great again, together we can make humanity great again. We are anonymous. We are everywhere. We are legion. We are those you have left without a home. We are those you have murdered. We are voiceless no more. The world will change. We'll change it. Tyrants of the world, expect us.
Greetings, citizens. We are anonymous. Since at least 2012, Facebook has been targeting selected users to disable their accounts and demand government-issued identification for reinstatement. On the surface, this appears to be another violation of privacy by Facebook, which users are clearly expected to comply with. No matter what they say, it is well documented that Facebook gathers all information that is submitted to the site, including information that may be typed in but not posted. Facebook's interest in sharing this information with third-party advertisers, no matter what is stated in their privacy policy, is well known. In addition, WikiLeaks' Julian Assange has gone on record as stating that Facebook is actually used as a comprehensive database by the United States intelligence community and that Facebook provides them with an interface for that purpose. Assange has also stated that users must be mindful that any time information of any kind is added to Facebook, users are building the database for US intelligence for free. This is a significant point for all users, and especially activists, to remember. In this light, providing government identification and photo is much more significant, as it is very possibly providing information directly to the intelligence community regarding users' legal status, legal address, and a photo that can be used with sophisticated facial recognition software, which is already in general use. It may be time to consider a move away from Facebook in order to preserve personal privacy, which we must safeguard ourselves if we are to have it at all. Options exist and are listed along
teetering on the edge of financial ruin and the downgrade for those unprepared, or unwilling, to acknowledge an ugly truth. Your country's financial rescue devised in Washington has failed miserably. The United States will soon be entering another Great Depression. And only a small percentage of you are prepared for that to happen. The truth is that the majority of Americans won't last longer than a month on what they have stored in their homes. Most of you are used to going to supermarkets for what you need. You need to consider what would happen if you were suddenly not able to do that. All it would take for the entire United States to resemble New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina would be for a major war, a terror attack, a deadly pandemic, or a massive natural disaster to strike at just the right time and push the teetering U.S. economy over the edge. The impending disaster will most likely come in the form of a false flag during the Jade Helm exercises. Once you stop listening to the mainstream media lies, you should be able to see very clearly that your society is more vulnerable now than it has ever been. We have a world that is full of lunatics in positions of power, and when one of them decides to set off a nuclear, chemical or biological weapon in a major city, it will paralyze that entire region. War could erupt in the Middle East at literally any moment, and when it does, the price of oil will double or triple, at least, and most of the entire world will be forced into the conflict. In addition, there is the constant threat that the outbreak of a major viral pandemic will kill tens of millions of people around the globe and paralyze the economies of the world. But even without all of that, the truth is that the United States economy is going to collapse. So just think of what will happen if one, or more, of those disasters does happen on top of all the economic problems that you are having. Keeping all of this in mind, Jade Helm 15 looks less like a drill and more like the preparation for the inevitable collapse and chaos facing the United States.
Albert Einstein once said, "Everybody's a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid." Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today on trial we have modern day schooling. Glad you could come. Not only does he make fish climb trees, but also makes them climb down and do a 10-mile run. Tell me, school, are you proud of the things you've done? Turning millions of people into robots, do you find that fun? Do you realize how many kids relate to that fish swimming upstream in class, never finding their gifts, thinking they are stupid, believing they are useless? Well, the time has come, no more excuses. I call school to the stand and accuse him of killing creativity, individuality, and being intellectually abusive. He's an ancient institution that has outlived his usage. So, Your Honor, this concludes my opening statement, and if I may present the evidence of my case, I will prove it.
Proceed.
Exhibit A. Here's a modern day phone. Recognize it? Here's a phone from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Stay with me. Here's a car from today. And here's a car from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Well, get this. Here's a classroom of today. And here's a class we used 150 years ago. Now ain't that a shame? In literally more than a century, nothing has changed. Yet you claim to prepare students for the future? But with evidence like that, I must ask, do you prepare students for the future or the past? I did a background check on you and let the record show that you were made to train people to work in factories, which explains why you put students in straight rows, nice and neat, tell them sit still, raise your hand if you want to speak, give them a short break to eat, and for 8 hours a day tell them what to think. Oh, and make them compete to get an A letter which determines product quality, hence grade A of meat. I get it. Back then, times were different. We all have a past. I myself am no Gandhi. But today, we don't need to make robot zombies. The world has progressed. And now we need people who think creatively, innovatively, critically, independently, with the ability to connect. See, every scientist will tell you that no two brains are the same. And every parent with 2 or more children will confirm that claim. So please explain why you treat students like cookie cutter frames or snapback hats, giving them this one-size-fits-all crap.
Watch your language.
Sorry, Your Honor, but if a doctor prescribed the exact same medicine to all of his patients, the results will be tragic. So many people would get sick, yet when it comes to school, this is exactly what happens. This educational malpractice. where one teacher stands in front of 20 kids, each one having different strengths, different needs, different gifts, different dreams, and you teach the same thing the same way? That's horrific. Ladies and gentlemen, the defendant should not be acquitted. This may be one of the worst criminal offenses ever to be committed. And let's mention the way you treat your employees.
Objection. Overruled. I want to hear this.
It's a shame. I mean, teachers have the most important job on the planet, yet they're underpaid? No wonder so many students are short-changed. Let's be honest. Teachers should earn just as much as doctors, because a doctor can do heart surgery and save the life of a kid. But a great teacher can reach the heart of that kid and allow him to truly live. See, teachers are heroes that often get blamed, but they're not the problem. They work in a system without many options or rights. Curriculums are created by policymakers, most of which have never taught a day in their life. Just obsessed with standardized tests. They think bubbling in a multiple choice question will determine success. That's outlandish. In fact, these tests are too crude to be used and should be abandoned, but don't take my word for it. Take Frederick J. Kelly, the man who invented standardized testing, who said, and I quote, "These tests are too crude to be used and should be abandoned." Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if we continue down this road, the results will be lethal. I don't have much faith in school, but I do have faith in people. And if we can customize healthcare, cars, and Facebook pages, then it is our duty to do the same for education, to upgrade it, change it, do away with school spirit, because that's useless. Unless we're working to bring the spirit out of each and every student, that should be our task. No more Common Core. Instead, let's reach the core of every heart in every class. Sure, math is important, but no more than art or dance. Let's give every gift an equal chance. I know this sounds like a dream, but countries like Finland are doing impressive things. They have shorter school days. Teachers make a decent wage. Homework is non-existent, and they focus on collaboration instead of competition. But here's the kicker, boys and girls. Their educational system outperforms every other country in the world. Other places like Singapore are succeeding rapidly. Schools like Montessori, programs like Khan Academy, there is no single solution. But let's get moving, because while students may be 20% of our population, they are 100% of our future. So let's attend to their dreams, and there's no telling what we can achieve. This is a world in which I believe. A world where fish are no longer forced to climb trees. I'll rest my case. Hey guys, my name is Prince EA, and I want to say thank you so much for watching my video. But now, I want to know what you think. How can we together create a more efficient, effective, and just better future of learning? I want you to visit nestday.com/preorder the future and share your thoughts and ideas on the topic. Peace. There was a study done, a hospital study, on 100 elderly people facing death close to their last breath. They were asked to reflect about their life's biggest regret. Nearly all of them said they regretted not the things they did, but the things they didn't do. The risks they never took, the dreams they didn't pursue. I ask you, will your last words be, if only I hit, hey, you, wake up. Why do you exist?